Hi guys, back again for another recipe, but this time it's butter chicken. And this is going to be a little bit of a fast thing because I'm going to log in at 2 o'clock for work. So the tawa is on, sorry, the wok is on, and adding the oil. Not too much though for this recipe because we're going to be using a lot of butter, and the butter is disappeared. So I've added the oil, I'm adding the butter. I'm using unsalted butter for this because the chicken has been marinated in salt. So now that the butter is boiling, Sammy was questioning about the whole spices and how we do it. So here we are with yelachi, laungam and cinnamon. I'm also going to add a petal of star anise, which will give a little different flavor. I know it's not in the recipe that I shared with you all. While this is slowly cooking, this is all done on low flame right now. I'm going to show you something. I'm using these dry red chilies. These are what we get in South India, especially in Karnataka. These are called the Bedige chilies because unlike your regular dry chilies, which are smooth, these have wrinkles in them. So I'm going to add that to that and give it a mix. Now, if you guys want to vary the spice, you have something known as the Booth Jolokia chili. It's one of the hottest chilies, and that's grown in India. And if you get your hands on those jolokias, and if you want to use one of them, I would suggest you use only a quarter of it because it's really spicy. First. Okay. So now I'm going to add the I've finely chopped the garlic, but it really doesn't matter how fine you want to chop it because at the end of the day all of this is going to go into the blender. Add the onions. Now itself I can at least start getting the aromas of the chili and the spices along with the butter and onions. Now you have to let this cook for maybe about 3 to 4 minutes till the onions start changing color. Okay, as you can see, the onions have more or less changed color. The yellowness that you see there is because of the butter, and the slight orange color is because of the chili extracts that are coming out from there. So now I add the tomatoes and then the almonds and the cashew nut. Give it a nice mix. Now the thing to remember here is that you should not overcook it or undercook it. So cook it till it becomes really mushy. Now I did say undercook and overcook, however, the tendency for us when we are doing this kind of cooking is for people to make the mistake of just waiting for the tomato skin to separate. That should not happen with this recipe. You have to cook it till the tomatoes and onions become a nice mush. Right? We have to keep in mind that you have to keep on constantly stirring this every 2 to 3 minutes, otherwise it will get stuck at the bottom. Even though there is a sufficient amount of oil and butter in here, that still does not prevent the tomatoes from sticking at the bottom. Okay, now you can see that the tomatoes have nicely separated from their skins and it's more of a pulpy thing now. So I'll switch off the stove and I will transfer this. See how much is stuck at the bottom? This is where the actual flavor is, the ones at the bottom, because it gives you that slight crispy burnt taste. So let this cool now, and let that cool for a moment. Okay, I've already marinated the chicken and kept as per the picture that I shared earlier on in the day. Now, there are two things that can be done with regard to this marinated chicken. It's been marinated for about more than an hour now. Like I said, the longer you marinate, the better it is. The typical Punjabi way of doing this is to shallow fry the pieces till they're evenly cooked on all sides to get that slight crispy thing. But I don't like to do that because the whole taste of the chicken goes for a toss, because once you add the chicken, the so-called slightly shallow fried, evenly dispersed crust chicken to the puree curry that we're going to make from this, what's going to happen is that once the dish is ready, the chicken on the outside will be slightly leathery and rubbery, and that's really not good when you want to start chewing and enjoy the flavors of the curry. Okay, now that this is sufficiently cooled, I'm going to put this in the blender. Now you have to blend it really fine. Now what happens when the blending process is done is you could do one of two things. Now this is the typical highway dhaba style of cooking. Now if you go to a restaurant, one of the fancy restaurants, what they do is that after this puree is made, what they do is they run it through a sieve. Now by running through a sieve, there's a lot of pulp, a lot of the masalas that doesn't get strained out, and I think that is the wrong thing to do, because you need to get that slightly coarse texture to your masala. So now I'm going to blend it. So I've just blended it for about 10 seconds, and you can see that it's still very pulpy. So what I do is I add about that much of water or less. You can say about maybe 5 or 6 tablespoons of water. And like I was saying earlier about the sieve part of it, now you can see that it, again after another about 15 seconds of blending, it is starting to get that nice smooth texture. So I'll add some more water to it so that it becomes a nice free flowing mixture. Now with regard to the sieve thing that I had said earlier on, I don't run it through a sieve. Okay. Now you can see it is a fine blend, and already you can start getting that aromas of the butter chicken, the masala gravy kind of thing. It's just that it's slightly on the raw side. It needs to be fried a little bit. Okay, so now we are going to cook the chicken in the cooker. So Sammy, you were questioning about how do you do it in the cooker. This one is for you. So about a teaspoon and a half of oil, about 10 grams of butter. Let it all melt, and then I add the puree mix. You can see how freely flowing it is. Okay, so now you can see that the puree or the blended mixture is slowly starting to boil. At this stage, I will add just a little bit of chili powder, about half a spoon of chili powder, and about half a spoon of garam masala. And here again we're back to the Baskin Robbins spoon of salt, just that much salt because I've already put salt in the marinade. And if Prema pans the camera to the right, to her right, you will see the onions are getting fried. Now these are caramelized onions. How I make this is that in a lot of, not a lot, but a fair decent amount of oil and ghee, thin slices of onions are fried, and just as soon as the onions turn color, I add about a teaspoon and a half of sugar. So that gives you that kind of sweet taste to the onions, and then we deep fry this till it becomes nice and brown. And in the pan over there ahead, that is the ghee that is getting ready, melting the ghee for me to make ghee rice. So I will add all that and tell you guys how we do the ghee rice as well. Now the onions, you can see they have kind of become brown. At this stage it's perfectly fine to switch off the stove and let it cook in that heat. Now what I'm going to do is that a part of these onions I'm going to use for the butter chicken. That is going to be the garnish after the dish is done. and the rest of it is going to go as again a garnish in the ghee rice. So coming back to the butter chicken masala, you can see that it's nicely boiled. So now I will add the chicken to it. So Prema, can you just keep stirring there, please? So I've just added a little bit of water in that vessel that where I had the marinade. The thing to remember is that when the chicken starts cooking, especially in a pressure cooker, it automatically starts releasing water. So you should be very careful how much of water you want to add, right? So at this stage, the chicken is in with the masalas. So now we have to let it cook. Now Sammy, for you and for those of you all who want to learn how to cook with the pressure cooker, I mean, obviously you know how to cook with the pressure cooker, but here what we do is we have to be very careful. I turn up the flame, set the cooker, and let the pressure build till you get one whistle. I repeat, one whistle. At the end of one whistle, transfer to a smaller burner and let it simmer for about 5 minutes and then switch off the stove. So while the chicken is getting ready in the cooker here, I'm going to show you guys how we make the ghee rice. This is basically a variation of the typical Malayali way of making that you get in various restaurants like Empire or Imperial that you find here in Bangalore. So I've got half a teaspoon of oil, about 10 to 15 grams of butter, ghee, and just a handful of jeera. Sprinkle it. A handful of curry leaves and let it fry. The moment this starts splattering or starts frying, you can actually make out when the curry pata starts frying. Reduce the flame, which is, you can hear it right now. You can see it also, the boiling thing that's happening. So I reduce the flame. I add a little the salt. Here we'll take about half a spoon of salt for the rice, or maybe that's a little too much. About a quarter spoon. The reason why I add the salt at this stage is because the salt evenly gets mixed in the ghee, so that when you're adding the basmati rice, yeah, that's another thing, I'm going to be using basmati rice here. So when I add the basmati rice, everything gets evenly spread out. So all the flavors of the jeera, the curry pata and the ghee filter out through the rice. So here we have the basmati rice that has been soaked for approximately 10 minutes. So for this proportions that I've put inside there, I've soaked 3 cups of basmati rice, and it depends on the kind of water that you want to use, but generally we prefer to use 1:1. That means 1 cup of basmati rice to 1 cup of water, because if you use regular rice, it's 1:2 or 1:1.5, depending upon the type of rice that you buy. So we have added the rice to this. Lightly fry the rice in the ghee and butter, so that the mixture is evenly spread out in terms of the butter and the ghee and ghee and jeera. Now I add the water to it. Give it a nice stir, but be careful, don't spill anything. And then we close the lid, cook for 1 whistle, and then simmer for 5 minutes, and then it's done. Pulkas. So now the rice is done, so I'm going to garnish it with the onions. And then we'll mix it thoroughly. So that is ready. So coming back to this, as you can see, after the pressure cooker was depressurized, I've lit the stove and let it boil for about a few minutes, so it is really becoming a thick gravy. So now I will add the onions. And just sprinkle the kasuri methi, about half a handful. Then give it a mix. You can increase the flame. So now you just have to wait till you thicken it to how much ever you want, and it is done. Enjoy. Yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, I forgot to add the cream thanks to my wife. So it is an option. So if you want to add fresh cream or fresh milk, I would prefer the cream. So I've got a vessel here full of cream. So I'll just take that much from the top and drop it in there. So that gives you that really thick, rich, heavy flavor. And just let it simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes. And it's done.